had a TT-01, I think. I may have had one when I was younger, but I think it was a TA something or else. I don't know Tamiya very well. But when I was a kid, my friend had the R32 Skyline, and I always wanted it. I had the Escort Cosworth, which I love, but I've sort of lusted after this body for ages, and then when I found this available in a shop when I was browsing for other stuff for a little bit more than the cost of the body, well, I might as well just have it and have a fun build. And I actually haven't opened this yet, so there's a good chance I'm going to find out I'm missing stuff, although it does say on here that it includes a motor, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest, when I ordered it. So, it actually also includes an ESC, a brushless ESC, which is cool. But yeah, we'll see. So it looks like I'm going to keep that around. Lovely, lovely body. It's such a shame that Tamiya bodies are narrow, because I still think they're some of the best looking ones. And this is just going to get the HKS livery at some point. And this, to be perfectly honest, this kit is probably just going to end up on a shelf somewhere. That is pretty impressive. They've already cut the arches for me. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to be able to show you this, but the arches are already perfectly cut out, which I've never had on a body before. So that's a very nice little thing for Tamiya to have done. That makes life a bit easier. Yeah, like I say, I'm a bit of a Tamiya noob when it comes to this, or you can probably tell by the way I say Tamiya, because I'm English and it should be Tamiya, but yeah, that's impressed me actually, because one of the things I remember being a kid making these bodies was cutting out arches in a neat and tidy way. It was very tricky when you were a young kid, so having that done makes life a lot easier. Let's get to the manual, see where I have to start before I take everything out of the box. It's a Type E, so it's not a drift chassis, I'm afraid. It's not the Type B version, which is obviously the go-to drift chassis for most model shops and hobby shops around the world. But I always used to love these manuals from Tamiya because they were so easy to follow and so difficult to mess up. And when you're 9, 10 years old, it means you can actually build a car like this on your own, or with a little bit of adult supervision, rather than absolutely needing your parents' help. Got bag A in, that's what I need. I assume that's all I need for now. Move the other bits out of the way. Oh no, wait, I'm going to need the tub. Yeah, I've got to follow. I'm assuming that's Haj, but could be Bauka or one of the other guys. If it's Taj, I'm going to look like a right idiot. He's the Tamiya expert here. And he's going to be ashamed that I don't know more about all of this. Got ourselves a nice little tub. So what are the two things I'm going to screw up then? Okay. The motor. I need that as well. But yeah. So it is a brushed motor. So I'm assuming that ESC has a brushed mode on it, even though it's brushless capable. It should be good. Not that it really matters, like I say, I doubt I'll ever actually drive this, or if I do, it'll be when I manage to get a track open and just for a bit of fun, rather than anything important. Well, over-tightening stuff is definitely going to happen. That's one of my specialties. I've got my super fancy tools to build a super basic kit, but sometimes you just got to use what you've got laying around, haven't you? So I used to have, but you can probably tell me, dude, what was the, is it the TT-01E or something? The Escort Cosworth kit from Tamiya. I forget exactly what it was. But that's the one I had, the Mobile 1 version. I always wanted the Michelin Pilot version, the yellow and blue one. But my local model shop didn't have it, so I got the other one and painted it Tamiya fluorescent pink, which was ace. Because it meant I could actually drive it when it was getting dark at night and still be able to see it long after my friends had to pack theirs away because they couldn't see and they kept crashing. So you have the short and the long. There we go. Cool. This is a slightly different level of quality than I'm used to. Not bad, it's just different. Plastic brushes. So it looks like this might take me a bit more time than I was expecting it to. But hey, like I say, it's just a chill Saturday, Sunday even. Black parts in this black part, not always the easiest to find. Right, I suppose I should actually grease this, despite the fact that I'm unlikely to ever drive it. Hey Bolty, I'm assuming that's Carl. How you doing, man? It's been a while. tuned in just to watch me not... Yeah, thanks, dude. Not remember how to build RC cars. It's been long enough. I say that. Hasn't really. I've built a few lately, but... It's funny, you know, I build so many sort of more high-end stuff, like the overlay chassis and whatever. It's really simple. When it comes to little basic kit, it's actually trickier. The pros here. Yeah, one thing, it's not so easy to do when you've got it down on the desk in front of you. I have to say. Sort of, I suppose I should probably give you guys a few updates on what I've been up to. So I've been, as obviously most of you will know, I've started the RC Pace shop in December, about a month ago. And I'm actually moving into an office on the 1st of March, which is super local. Obviously my goal is to get a track open, but right now that's not feasible to take out a lease on a track when I can't have anyone there. I can't afford to pay the rent for probably 6+ months. So yeah, I'm moving into an office. At the moment I'm just working from home, but as of the 1st of March I'll be in an office, which makes life a little bit easier, and it does sort of it does sort of make it a bit easier to keep home and work life a bit separate and stop with the distractions, because I have got a 6-month-old baby now. So yeah, so anyway, I've got this office lined up, which is actually a super nice office, super local. It's actually kind of perfect for me. It's affordable, and the reason I've gone for this one in particular is because I've got it on a rolling contract, so I can give them a month's notice at any point when Corona finally disappears and we can get working on a track. So that's my goal, that's my plan, is to be able to sort of crack on with that as early as possible. But for now I've just got to get some sales in, get the business built up a little bit, make it so that it's actually able to support a track. Obviously they're quite expensive to run. Rent is pretty insane, particularly around here, and yeah, just get a bit of history on the company. And as I mentioned when I announced it, it's not technically a company yet, and the main reason for that is because I didn't want to register it to my house. So as soon as I've moved into the office, that'll be registered as a company, so 1st of March, and then we'll be able to take cards and stuff as you'd expect on a shop. So that will all be available pretty much as soon as the paperwork arrives and as soon as I'm allowed to do that legally. So one of my favourite tools that I own is these amazing sidecars, which they don't look that amazing, but I buy them when I go to Tam in Japan, and they're super cheap. I think they're like £4, something like that. But they're the sharpest I've ever had. They stay the sharpest. They seem to have the hardest tips, and they don't ever seem to have issues, which I really like. The Tamiya ones I bought, which were I think like £15 or £20, very quickly. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but the jaws get chewed up, and they're good. I like them, but now I use them for gripping stuff because they're not what I need them to be. Let's see. Let's get this in. There we go. Love it. Motor in straight away. What you need, isn't it? I've been very much missing a good drift lately, because obviously everywhere's closed over here. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the UK at the moment there are no drift tracks open to run, which is annoying but understandable. But we keep getting memories popping up, and it's trips to Japan, trips to Cookies, fun weekends down at Drift Essex or whatever. And thanks for the subscription, Shilly. I think that might make you #1. I got affiliate status on this channel playing some games a while ago, and just didn't have time to do it. Obviously, as I mentioned, I had a kid, and I've had other stuff going on, and I figured I'd just switch it over and just do some stuff here for fun stuff like this, where it doesn't need to end up on YouTube. And we'll see how that actually goes. Seems nice. I think that's a rod, if I remember right. Could be wrong. Fingers crossed, everything sounds alright. Okay, that's good to know. That's exactly what I was just about to ask. I will turn the music down a little bit. And I'll turn myself up a little bit. I think the problem is I'm moving around a lot, so I'm not next to the mic all the time, unfortunately. like I say, man, it's been so long since I built anything like this that I kind of find these just as interesting as everything else these days, because I think the design is obviously a very different challenge to build something like this. It's cheap, easy to build, but strong as well. And things like this motor mount, it's just a different way of doing it. And it's a way I've seen before, but it's not a way I see very frequently. It's super hard. I mean, I made a video in the week about updating AccuVance, and I thought the audio was great. It sounded amazing on my PC. Not amazing, but it sounded spot on my PC. And as soon as I got Taj to give it a little listen, he couldn't hear anything of my voice. And it always depends. And I think the problem is when you've got certain like headphones like these or speakers or whatever, it's difficult to get an accurate view, because you know, I've got mine to sound nice rather than accurate. Just let me know if anything's not right. Like I say, this is the first one. I've just sort of bashed it together. My plan is to have this set up sorted so that I can just jump on, do quick streams when there's fun stuff to do. And I thought I'd start with something that's not exactly relevant to my work. Or I also got, when I bought this, I made we had a bit of an evening chatting on Discord, looking at various web shops and buying crap. And we ended up with a load of little models, which were pretty cool. Little 64th scale, I think. But I also bought the TS-050, the Toyota Le Mans winning car. Again, just as a fun thing. I'm a big fan of endurance racing, and I thought I might as well end up picking up something like that because it was cheap enough. It's really weird to see in the manual. Just bend the terminals. I don't know if you can see that. Just that to me it's perfectly fine. Obviously, it's just a really unusual way of doing it. So yeah, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the space I've got in this office means I'll be able to have a dedicated space set up to do live streams and a few more videos and stuff, because currently I'm doing it from my home office, which also has a sim rig and all of my RC crap. And basically it's just a very, very busy full room, but not a lot of room. So I haven't been able to get on my sim rig in like a month because it's covered in boxes ready to ship products out and things like that. Because my garage is also full of stuff like, you know, desks and stuff I've been saving, knowing that we're going to be opening a new track and I'm going to need all that stuff. It's kind of funny because the part that excites me about this kit is actually the body, and I'm probably not going to get around to building the body today. I might come back to it. I might give the body a quick paint, because it's only going to be a simple paint job, isn't it, on that, and then do all the decals on the stream or something like that. We'll see. Like I say, it's a little bit tricky getting being able to plan to do streams and things like that, having a 6-month-old son, but trying to work out ways to make it easier. And I'm hoping that if I can make it work when I move to the office, I can do like a regular Friday afternoon stream or something like that, depending on how busy things are. I've been quite impressed with how busy I've been so far. A lot of orders going all over the world, which is super nice. And I think once I'm set up to have better shipping options, better payment options, that should make life a bit easier. I managed to ship orders already to been as far as Vietnam, which is not somewhere I've shipped to often with other businesses in the past. But Vietnam, USA a few times, and then all over Europe and Scandinavia and stuff is kind of, I don't know, it's just been nice because I was expecting it to be mostly UK guys, and there's been a few UK guys, but it's been as much everywhere else, which is kind of cool to me, because it means that there's some guys that are getting very much on my wavelength with stuff. So there's one guy that I had a load of super cool body parts for a 180SX, and somebody's just bought them all because he obviously has the same vision for the same body I was planning to build. This makes it more complicated or easier. So as I said before, one of the things I'm aiming to do with this stream is, or this Switch, is to just build some of my stuff on there. I find it's kind of funny because I love building RC cars, love working on them, but I find building chassis is quite therapeutic to do on my own. But as soon as it comes to sort of tweaking stuff or working on installing options and things like that, I'd much rather have someone to chat to. So I've got a whole load of fresh fancy chassis that I bought tail end of last year, knowing we were going into a lockdown, and they're sort of just sat there. And they're sat there because I've been busy, as I said, on the new shop, and then also working on just having new family life and all that stuff. But my plan is to basically be able to get everything up and running. So I got my fancy 10th anniversary arm, the purple one. I got the MC1, which, to be perfectly honest, I've sort of lost interest in, only because I haven't used it. It's one of those chassis I bought as a bit of a test to do a few things differently to how I would with my own actual chassis that I'm going to use and run regularly on my own. And then I got the GRK4, which I find quite interesting because it's a pretty simple, basic chassis, but it's just one of those things where it's all a bit. Nothing's really going ahead, is it? It's just sat there. In fact, they're literally sat next to me here in a pile, and all I want to do is drive one. Don't even care which one it is. To be perfectly honest, I'd run this. If I could just run something, I'd be super happy. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't be too much longer till we can start thinking about having tracks open. But then I've got the worry of trying to balance going to a track, which is obviously something I really want to do, with working on getting a new track open myself, which is obviously something I really want to do. But my plan is to, hopefully, just find a nice balance and get a few visits in to some good quality tracks, get some fun driving in, and just use that to keep the motivation levels up while I'm working on getting a track open. Because it's going to take a while once I've even found the place. They are, as some people here will know, they're quite hard to set up in terms of getting leases. A lot of the units that I've been looking at over the last couple of years just wouldn't rent to me because we're not a normal business. We're not a traditional business that's going to make loads of money and guarantee that we can pay our bills. But then once I've even found the unit, my plan is to order some P-tile from Japan. Because that's the surface I like the best, and it's really good that Slidehouse have got P-tile now, but it's the P-tile I want is slightly different. It's a bit more slippery, and there's a few sort of tips and tricks I've picked up over the years that should mean it's the exact surface I want. Basically, I want the same surface that they have at Shift, which is obviously not Shift anymore. I'm assuming the surface is equal to or better than it was before, although the current trend in Japan is for everything to be super, super, super high grip and fast, so I might decide to go with the old style. It's funny, man. I don't remember ever working on full plastic TT-01. I've plenty come into the shops over the years, and people turn up and they've got Eagle Racing conversions or whatever. Seeing full plastic it's not that common for me. I'm assuming an R32 is not a short wheelbase body. Thanks for the follows, guys. Very grateful. Like I say, I'm hoping to do a bit more with this channel in the future, but for now, it's just a nice little Sunday chill stream. As Clive and I have mentioned a whole bunch of times, we've been spent a lot of time planning Pacecast Series 2. Both had a lot going on. Me with new child and new business and stuff, and Taj with moving and setting up his new workshop and all that stuff. Don't remember there being a little grab handle on the back of these, and I'm not going to bother putting the body posts on yet. Can't see it being a problem. Add them later, but I'm going to keep it low profile so it can go back in a box and on a shelf nice and easy. But yeah, this hasn't been touched yet. The Red B, literally as it was, I got as far as I could until I needed some more parts. I've got all the parts to finish it, but it's just sat there because, like I say, I've sort of lost a bit of motivation with it. Been a bit busy, and I can't use it, so it's just going to sit for a while anyway, no matter even if I finish it or whatever. And I've sort of, part of me has also kept the 3 project chassis there to one side, so that when it looks like a track is going to be able to open in the near future, I can sort of jump on it and do a bit of building to get me excited, and until we can actually get on track, I should say. With the FRD, the big wobbly FRD. So JR and I both have a bit of an obsession with some of the chassis we saw when we were at Shift in particular. They were doing the big Kashigari style over the top body roll stuff. And we both sort of fell in love with it a bit, I think. I actually built a Travis ready to do similar things, and then it never happened. It's literally never run, which is the story of a lot of my chassis, unfortunately. I get very excited, really into an idea, and then something else comes along, or I don't. What normally happens is I don't get to go to a track often enough, and so when I go, I just want to drive what I know because I just need to practice. Part of me thinks it's a bit stupid to be putting grease on things on this chassis because I have a sneaky feeling it's just going to dry up and end up being more resistant than not having any grease on. But hey, might as well. Nice to see that there's details in the manual for option part included for the bearing set and stuff. Stuff like the Garm for me, before I was even a team driver, it just clicked and it was all I wanted because everything made sense to me. The way everything worked was spot on. The way you assembled everything was exactly as I'd want to do it. And yeah, it's even today, you know, the reason I buy more chassis because I like building chassis and I like playing around with them. But a lot of it is just that I know I'm going to stick with a Garm when it matters. So it's fun to play with something else when it doesn't matter as much. Quite funny because I underestimated how, I'm not going to say how much of a challenge this is, but how different this is to build from what I'm used to. I feel like it doesn't make me look like a very professional builder building stuff like this. It's quite funny that because I'm using an Aramax car stand that I think is worth more than the chassis it's sitting on top of it. So the one thing that I like as well when I go to a Japanese shop is all the little Tamiya tools and all the apparel stuff and extras that you get out there that I know you can get here, but nobody stocks. You don't just walk into a shop and it's there. And there's a part of me that really wants to get out one of the mini four-wheel drive aprons because I think they're badass. But I think they look badass when you're in at a track in Japan. It's quite different when you're at a track or you know or a shop here in the UK where it's just a fat balding guy wearing an apron. I probably will stream that, but what I think I'll do differently, which I didn't do this time, is open the box and have a look and get my head around it first, because there's a lot to take on, as you'll know, mate, from doing the pacecast stuff. It takes a lot of concentration to make sure the stream's all working right and all that stuff, and then to also be doing the task at the same time. I don't really have the mental capability sometimes to do it, so it's better to get a bit ahead and understand at least what the first couple of steps are going to entail. And I think it's, from what I've seen, so I haven't even opened the box, but what I've seen of them, it looks like a fairly straightforward build with the F103 for the Toyota hybrid. Build's pretty good. Like I say, it's just so different to what I'm used to. But it's kind of, I think it's cool to do stuff like this because it is so different to what I'm used to. So I'm not, I have to read the manual, I have to look at it, I have to sort of study it when something isn't quite making sense, rather than just doing what I know will work because I've done it enough times in the past. And so I think it's fun to build stuff like this. As I say, I am a big fan of Lego and stuff like that as well. I just like to tinker with things, and as much as I like to sort of try and make my own parts and stuff like that, sometimes it's nice to just sort of shut your brain off a bit and follow a manual and let someone else do all the hard work for you. Not always, of course, just Sunday afternoons. That's when it suits me. So if anyone hasn't already done it, Tarish has a YouTube channel called Enjoy RC, and he recently did a quick tour of his new workshop that he's recently moved into and is sort of setting up to be a workshop for his actual car that he's building, but also his RC stuff and a bit of a YouTube studio and all that stuff. But it was a super fun video, which I was very excited to see because I've been pestering him to do it for ages. And you can see my my lovely new paste stickers here as well. I was quite happy with them in the end. They're not quite perfect, but they are produced locally, which is kind of important to me. I didn't want to just farm them off to China or anything like that. And I'm giving them away. If you do half decent size order, you'll get some stickers from me. And if you want some extras, you can buy them. They're cheap enough and available on the shop, which I probably should have mentioned is rcpace.com. At the moment, it's mostly got my own personal stuff listed, but I have invested a lot of money so far into stock from Overdose, HRC, Accuvance, and Azada. I have got more Azada wheels coming on the way. I've got a lot of interest in the Azada steering wheels, so I've ordered a whole bunch. I think this week I should be able to open up pre-orders for them. I just wanted to wait until it's absolutely confirmed that they're definitely all coming, because I think they're probably all going to pre-sell, to be honest, judging from the demand I'm having. I also was super impressed with the quality on the Azada wheels. I got a few in to start with because I hadn't seen any of the products in person, so I didn't go too crazy. But actually, I'm super impressed. It's a really nice quality, a really clever design that makes them work for Sanwa and Futaba really easily. And the only thing you have to adjust is the width of the wheel itself by removing or adding spaces. It comes with all the spaces pre-assembled on there. But I was confused because I opened mine and I was like, where's the spaces? Because I expected them to be loose in the box, and it turns out they were actually already on there, and it's so tight. I haven't got my transmitter here, unfortunately, it's down in the garage, but it's so nicely done that you can't tell that there's spaces even assembled in the wheel. Hopefully, we're going to end up having a bunch more of those available, but like I say, they may all pre-sell, but I'm going to put a post up on Facebook and the usual places later this, hopefully Wednesday, Thursday. I think I should be able to confirm exactly what's coming. And then I just don't want to disappoint people and have people expecting them and then not be able to get hold of them. But I also have a load of Overdose bodies coming in stock, which is good. They shipped out the other day, along with Garm diffs, which have been out of stock for quite a while. So that's good to have them back in, because I get asked about them about 10 times a week, and haven't been able to supply any extras for quite a while. I think it'd be really cool if we could do like a cookies event like we did last year, but just chuck in a few fun events like that, like dancing rider races or TCR races or something like that. Maybe not anything too crazy like a 24-hour race, but just fun challenges. Normally, whenever I'm building any drift kits, I get to the shock part, and that's where I get bored and give up, because I can't stunt. I don't mind building dampers, but I just hate the mess of building dampers. And I always change my mind about what I want to do in terms of specs and stuff, so I always end up just putting it off a bit longer than I should. We've got a GRK with no dampers, a Garm with no dampers. Although the Garm, to be fair, was waiting for HRC fancy damper parts to arrive, which have now arrived, but I've been too busy to get on it. Switched it to the DC bumper, which I think looks amazing, to be honest. But a few people have pointed out they don't like it because the carbon doesn't match the carbon, but it does match the flame carbon, which is another thing I've got to install. I think I might end up doing another stream in a week or two and finish that Garm, put it all together and just actually make it what I want it to be. It's quite funny because I need to get the, obviously I'm in a super lucky position to have the fancy Garm, but I've still got my old fancy Garm. And my plan was to build the new one, then take both to a track, make sure the new one runs how I expect it to, and then split the old one and sell the parts from it. But it actually is it's proving to obviously take a lot longer to do than I expected. Because I'm very happy with the way the black drives, so I'd much rather be able to just switch them over and make sure that the purple one is the same. Because I'm changing a lot, it's going to have extra option parts that weren't available last time I drove, as well as HRC nerd dampers and things like that, which that's pretty odd. So you make the steering links, then you put the bumper on, then you put the steering links on. There's my lovely foam bumper. That's quite possibly the ugliest bumper I've ever seen, but does the job. Look at that for a sexy bumper. It's almost as nice as that Overdose one I just showed you. Holy crap, we've got some actual steel. This will never, ever, ever get any upgrades. I can promise you that. Never, not a single one. Like, I'm probably not even going to change the wheels on it, even though I'm actually not a fan of the Nismo wheels that the R32 used. The F103, however, may get some upgrades. And the Dancing Rider, if ever I can get that on a track, will definitely get some updates. Oh, there we go. Preset to brushed motor mode. That's pretty helpful. It's kind of cool that you get the option to upgrade to a brushless motor, although I'd imagine a brushless motor would probably tear this to pieces. But funny, man, because I got a lot of the parts I've got in stock I'm really keen to run myself, like a lot, and I've really got to be sensible about what I can have and what I can't. As I've said before, the plan with the shop is basically just to cover the cost of a track. And I think spec racing is one of the must-haves for me now. Like, I really want to do it, but I want to get into racing, but I don't want to get into buggy racing or touring cars or something like that, because I'll just end up spending a fortune and obsessing about every little detail on it. I don't know if I can run that. It's pretty ugly, isn't it? What do you reckon? Bare motor or plastic cover? I think bare motor. Man, my TCR's just sat waiting, unfortunately. Waiting for a chance to use it somewhere. It's literally just sat there doing nothing. I still haven't painted the body. I will do, but like I said earlier, my problem is the urgency of it all. I'm not really that bothered to just go and use it in a car park. I'd rather use it somewhere. Where, you know, we can get it on a track and have some fun, close racing. I'll use it in a car park if I need to, but it's not really what I want to do. The faces, the barrels, like having Sojins or something like that. Let's just go big offset for all of them, eh? I'm sure that's not the right way of doing it, but the way I'm going to do it. Gonna have to be that way. Doesn't look as cool the other way. I'm sure these won't fit under the body, but easy to fix later. Oh man, you've got fat spacers as well. That hex is available. I'm fairly sure these are going to get replaced with some working grips or something, but you know. Or some, probably some. Ooh, I could put the new Valino tyres on. Get me the fat 30mm on the back. So what do you reckon? What should I do for the next stream? Should I do the body show for this? After I've cut it out and painted it and stuff, and just sticker it up? Or should I do the TS-050 hybrid F103 GT Tamiya kit? Or should I do some actual proper drift stuff? They're all on my list of stuff to do. I've also got the Sakura D5, which I kind of felt like I needed to build one. I see a lot of people recommending them, and I can't recommend something I haven't built or worked on much. I've driven a bunch, I've just never built one or worked on one. So I thought I'd get one, and then the day after it arrived, they announced the V2, which is typical, but I think it's mostly just very small differences from what I can see. I saw a blog post from one of the I think it was Malaysian dealer or somebody like that. Basically, he said the difference is a couple of spaces in a couple of places, making the front track width wider and stuff like that. So it's not really a big deal. But we'll see. I'm going to put that together at some point, probably on a stream. But they actually look pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Aside from the fact you can see the grey, proper chunky tyres. That's what I like to see. I'm very, very, very tired of the stretch look on stuff. I like big fat tyres. There we go, and the last one. Right, X is, we'll go normal size. And the last couple of bits. And then I'm done for today, I guess. There's not going to move on to the body stuff today. Leave that as it is. So it's literally just a case of putting the last two wheels on, and then I am done for today. But I've enjoyed it, so I'm definitely going to do some more streams. When, I'm not entirely sure. It's a bit tricky at the minute. Like I say, new offices come in, start of March, but I'm led to believe I can actually move in before then. So we'll see exactly when it'll be. But even if I don't do the streams from the office, it should give me a bit more space at home to be able to do them. I really appreciate you guys joining in and keeping me company, joining in the chat and the extra follows. And not planning to be a shroud or anything like that, but it's just nice to see a bit of sport in it. Oh, that's some good suspension. Ooh. Actually wobbling the camera, that's oh, that's how firm that is. Yeah, I need to work out what I did wrong with that steering. I appear to have used the right screw, but they seem too long. So the wheels actually look better than I thought they would. And then yeah, and then I've got to go and practice my my figure of eights and ovals, and we should be all good. But yeah, so that's wicked. So thanks guys, thanks for joining me. Like I say, I'm going to do some more streams soon. So if you have any requests, if you want to see me do something with the D5, oops, first, or one of the fancier GARMs or something like that, let me know. But if not, it might well be the body shell for this or the Toyota hybrid, or both. We'll see. I don't think the body shell for this is going to take too long, but I'm looking forward to doing it. Yeah, so I'll catch you later, guys. Thanks again.